Hi everyone. In this video I'd like to talk about interval notation. Now you recall that the interval of the set of x values that are between -2 and 4, we can graph that this way. I'd have a -2 over here on the left, 4 on the right, and you may have seen in the past that we would use a little open circle to represent that we are not including those endpoints. Well, another way that we can also indicate that the endpoints are not included is to use parenthesis and then again draw the line between those two parentheses, and then this would indicate all the points between -2 and 4 but not including those endpoints. Okay, well, if we think of it in terms of the parenthesis, then we can more compactly express this, what we call set builder notation, as the points that start at -2 and go to 4. So I'm going to think of this as an interval between -2 and 4, and then I'm going to put this parenthesis up here right on this side, and that's going to tell me not to include the point -2, and then likewise this parenthesis on the 4 means not to include the point 4. So in addition to being an ordered pair -2, 4, in a context of an interval, this would be the set of points between -2 and 4, not including the endpoints. And you'll remember the intervals that do not include the endpoints, those are called open intervals. Now suppose I wanted a set of x's that are between -2 and 4 that do include those endpoints. So you'll remember that we would use a closed circle to indicate that we include that endpoint. And in addition to using a closed circle, we can also use a square bracket to indicate the same thing. So this set of points between -2 and 4, and whether you've got the closed circle or the square bracket, that means you're including all the points between those 2 points and the 2 endpoints. And so we can also think of this as starting at -2 and going to 4. We have this interval of points, and then put the little square bracket I have here with the -2. That's going to mean it includes -2. And then the square bracket on the 4 also means it includes 4. And remember, that's called a closed interval. And then I can have a what I call the combo platter. If I wanted the x's that are strictly greater than -2 but less than or equal to 4, then that would be, I'd use a parenthesis to show that it does not include -2, and a square bracket to show that it does include 4. And then the line would mean that I include all those points that are between those. And so again, if I want to very compactly describe this, instead of using the set builder notation that we have over here, I could just simply say, okay, I have a set of points on the number line. They start at -2, they end at 4, and I'm going to put the parenthesis on the -2. That means it excludes -2. Then I'll put the square bracket on 4. That means it includes 4. So since this is an open interval and this is a closed interval, it makes sense that this would be a half open interval. Or I suppose you could call it a half closed interval, depending upon if your cup is half empty or half full. All right, if I want the x's that are less than or equal to 4, that would be all of these values to the left of 4. And if I wanted to describe that in interval notation, I always start with the number on the left. So there really is a number, it just keeps going this way. So what I do is I start at -infinity, and then it's going to end right here at 4, and it includes 4, and then -infinity, that's not really a number, it just means it keeps going that way. So I'm not going to say I include infinity, because you can't, it just means it gets more and more negative that way. So I'll always put a parenthesis symbol if I use infinity or -infinity. And likewise, if I want the x's greater than -2, strictly greater than -2, that would be a parenthesis, and then all the numbers to the right of that. So in interval notation, this would be the set of points. It starts at -2, goes to infinity. I don't want to include -2, so I put a parenthesis, and I can't include infinity because it's not really a number, so I'll put the parenthesis on that as well.